kind of moving on to the next. I kind of want to go back to. I want to talk to Yeshua for like a minute or so, but I have other questions that are kind of like, um,
Okay.
if he wants to come in, if he's not already here, because I know he
Yeah,
probably.
it's funny because you've talked about Eric and then now Yeshua. And the other night when I was channeling, it was Yeshua, Eric, Buddha, Catherine Hepburn, Baba Ram Dass, and then Maharaji. We had like this whole panel of, and they were all saying the coolest things. But anyways, so yes, let me just kind of open up and listen. What's your question?
Um, Outside of the obvious spiritual connection, I feel like I wasn't, but I had an incarnation at the same time as Yeshua, and I'm trying to figure out like what's the relation?
What's the relation in what
What's the
sense
relationship beyond just like the normal spiritual one?
between you and Yeshua at that incarnation?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, first of all, he wants to speak freely, so I'm just gonna like
Uh,
honor what
yeah,
he's
no, go
saying.
for it. Yeah.
Uh, he's saying, just in general, in the way that you walk in life, he says, don't let your identity betray you. Um, what he means by that, I mean, it's just he's so peaceful. What
Mhm.
he means by this, he's showing an image of basically like you standing in front of the mirror and going, "That's who I am." But knowing who you are much deeper than, of course, the flesh and bones. And I know you know this, but it's like for some reason he feels the love and passion to share that. Now, to go on to your question, let me just plug into that for a moment. There's like such a closeness between you and him in this incarnation, and it feels like you taught him a skill set, like a trade. Um, it's parallel. So to me, this means contemporary, like you were of similar age as him at the time of this incarnation.
Mhm.
Um, but it's so I asked if this resonates as brother, and it's not like brother, it's not even like cousin, but it's there's still the same kind of closeness. And I said, well, okay, how was the interaction? And it feels as though you taught him in his life, like as he's growing up and you're both, of similar age, you had knowings and skills that he didn't have that you shared with him. And it feels like gathering resources. But of course, it's not like he didn't know because he's Yeshua, but it's like he attracted that from you to see, so to speak, like how you would share. It's not like he was waiting to judge you. Here's an example, and it feels very literal. Gathering resources, like he needs stone, wood, clay. And you know how to gather those things and to harvest them in a way that you can keep the integrity of them, they don't get damaged. And so you would teach him how to do that. Because it feels like it's around construction, it's around building. Like you taught him how to gather resources to do what he wanted to do. Um, of course, he knew how to do that because he's Yeshua, but it's more that's how he chose to cultivate a relationship with you in that life, and to see your heart in that way, and your giving compassion itself with him. You were limitless in your generosity in that space, and you know that's the connection. It's not like I want to see if you're going to do this with a good pure heart. It's not like he was waiting to judge you to see if you were of goodness, but it was more like you were such a, how like the age range feels like, I feel like I'm tapping in around like 15, 18, 23, like that age range. But you know how, like, if you were to ask like a 7-year-old, like, hey, I don't really know how to make a macaroni necklace or something, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, I know how. I'll show you. Like, that's the essence that you gave him. Like, it is not, I don't even know how to express this, but it's not, there's no limit on your love and passion and compassion to share with him. And that's what he hoped to see, and that's what he loved. And so now, I guess his message now, when he's saying like, don't be betrayed by what you see in the mirror or something, I think he's saying like to stay that little child, like stay that pure essence of that little boy. He's saying, because I love you. Man, he has like such a beautiful energy. Baba has a different kind of beautiful. Buddha, his is just sustenance, like so pretty. It's just so beautiful. His aura looks like milk, like I can't see through it. When I channel other individuals, it's like, or other beings, is this beautiful light that moves in waves and patterns, but it's transparent usually. His is not transparent. It's always interesting that way.
Thank you for validating for the things I've kind of been thinking for a long time, but I just didn't have anyone be like, here.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, it's just the place. I mean, I wish I knew where I was. Like, this land is beautiful. Like, what hilltop am I on when I see this?
it was Qumran.
Where?
Qumran.
I'm
The
gonna have to look.
the Essenes.
This is so, it's beautiful. I mean,
It's back when because I'm looking at it right now. It's back when Yeshua was alive, but so Qumran was the settlement that all the Essenes lived in, and that's where Yeshua went to go study and everything during that time when he was young.
wow.
Yeah.
How do you spell that? Qumran?
Just type in the Essenes. It's the
Okay.
it's their settlement. It's a complete utter desert now, but it was much prettier back then. They had like date trees and stuff, and
Oh wow.
it was a garden. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful and it's so primitive, like
Yep.
very rustic looking.